All right, welcome everybody to ZeroPoint Module 9. We're here with the Civilware team, so we're going to be talking about Engram mostly. We have Dank, we have Nelbert, we have Azlem, and we have SixofClubs all joining us today. First, I just want to ask everybody, kind of introduce themselves to everybody, and maybe give a little bit about your background or whatever you feel like divulging to everybody to let them get to know you. I think we'll start here with Dank. And Dank, if you want to go ahead and kick it off.
Yeah, thank you everyone for having us. I am Dank. I am a member of the DERO project team. I'm also a member of the DERO Foundation and also a member of the Civilware team that brought many open source tools to the DERO network. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Cool. Let's see, Delbert, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, Nelbert, hello. Been around DERO for a while, February 2018, and a member of Civilware, primarily working on Gnomon and some parts with Engram.
Cool. Azlem, you want to introduce yourself to those who don't know you?
A lot of you guys have probably talked to me or met me at Nonsensus. I spend most of my time working with different work groups and different people in the DERO ecosystem, particularly with the Civilware team and the foundation and the mod group, doing what I can to connect people and help them out and build materials, doing whatever I can do to help them out. So that's me. Hey.
All right. And Six, what about you?
Hello, I'm SixofClubs. I like to build things on DERO, and I really enjoyed Civilware's tools, so I'm glad to be here as part of the team.
Right on, right on. So I don't know who wants to take the ball first, but if anybody just wants to kind of go over like what piece of the wallet they worked on, or what part of the tech that they worked on, just kind of give an overview on kind of who does what.
I guess I'll go first. Yeah, so mainly Engram was really born out of some of the work that Nelbert and I have been working on, some of the ideas that we've been kind of researching and sharing with each other. And finally, we decided to form a loosely run organization that's now Civilware. So with that, we've been kind of developing tools and testing them, and that's really where we met SixofClubs, and he's been instrumental in testing Gnomon in particular, and so we're very happy to have him aboard. Through that research and the development, we started to try to visualize, what a next generation wallet would look like, and so that kind of gave us the framework for what is now Engram, which actually went through several different iterations, the first of which we released a couple years ago, and we've made great strides since then. Yeah, primarily I've been working on kind of the core functionality and design, and then that's where we brought in Azlem, who was also instrumental in his own right, not only doing a lot of the legwork and research, but handling a lot of the graphic design and the animations that went into Engram. So big ups for Azlem. We're very happy to have him aboard as well. Yeah, no, I was really just going to turn it over to the other team members that can kind of release some information about, what they've done in a little more detail and what they're currently working on. And yeah, I'll open it up to you guys.
You want to take the ball first, Albert?
Sure. Mine is slightly less than maybe Six's. But anyways, actually a nice thing that came from the December 24th release of 0.5, we kind of started using GitHub boards to kind of track bugs and features and such amongst ourselves. And it really helped us kind of coordinate efforts, as well as put in our own ideas, not just in a chat that we had to scroll back to, but in writing that's referenceable and actionable. So for a collective, I know we've kind of been doing that. I really only handled a couple small bug things as far as like code commits, but over the last while, this Dank reference, I mean, pretty much anything relevant to no one under the scenes is we've worked pretty closely in keeping feature parity, making sure that while I have my own agendas for the most part for what I want to see that become, as well as, you know, the collective does, but within the way that Engram uses it, we definitely worked closely and made sure that it works to get the features that we want to be usable within the smart wallet possible. And that's just trying to bring some of those to be a bit easier to digest for chain indexing and chain information, really. There's definitely a lot of things that are going to change.
Speaking on that, like, so my understanding is you did a lot of or most of the legwork on Gnomon, right? So for people who don't really know what that is, do you want to just kind of give like a high level view or explain like M5 on what Gnomon does?
Sure, yeah. So we've essentially, quote unquote, code named it decentralized search engine, but kind of the idea behind Gnomon is really a beginning stages of an index protocol for what we know today as Stargate, what we can see, what we can learn and discern what's actually occurring. You know, some may view that as, oh, it's chain analysis and so on, but none of this is information that's not already available. The idea is that this is always something ran against your node or even somebody else's node, whatever you choose. There's no third-party situation here, no infura or anything like that. Kind of the idea is that it's really just a way to bring in information that's easily queryable that has occurred on chain. Primary use cases really has always been at the forefront of I'm building a DApp A, I'm using smart contract ABC, and I want to track all interactions with those, not just for myself, but for anybody who's using it. Take Dreams, for example, take Engram, for example. You know, it gives you the ability to hone in on, I'm waiting for some action to occur, and I can track and watch those actions occur because they're just transactions on the network working within a set, you know, series of parameters that I'm looking for. So it's, I'm interacting with a contract. I want to know when somebody else interacts with that same contract and so on and so forth. So it's primarily focused around smart contract querying and indexing. There's much more that can be done with it and will be done with it. It's a slow roll, but it's essentially the idea to bring network index under one roof that's queryable, so to speak, that can be utilized in various different ways.
I think that's a pretty decent segue actually to kind of ask SixofClubs some of the stuff that he's done with it. Maybe give an example and also maybe just explain what he's been doing with Engram.
Sure. So where I started with Gnomon, it was kind of a problem that I needed to solve that Gnomon was obviously the clear solution to achieve. So basically what that was kind of like Nelbert was describing. I had different contracts, which were different DApps that needed to be connected in one place. And to do that, obviously Gnomon was a great choice to be able to query everything from the contracts and have all the data locally. So from there, that kind of expanded into how do I continue that chain and basically keep on integrating things into that chain or sphere or ecosystem, whatever word you'd like to use to describe it. And yeah, Gnomon is just fantastic for that. Like, I can't stress that enough, how great it is to be able to have all the data locally to you and not have to be relying on any third parties or creating outside connections to get what you need.
Right on. And Asylum, I know that you pretty much designed all of the like the UI basically for the most part and all the graphics for it at least. I kind of have two things I want to address on this part. So I know that GUI graphics is its own thing, but also Engram is completely cross-platform, and that's because it's 100% Go, and it was using Fine. Did you guys run into problems using Fine? And I know that was a big part of why you guys had some delays, was because you actually had to contribute to the actual framework itself to get it to do some of the things you needed to do. How did that go?
Well, for the most part, Dank did the design for Engram in Fine. The pieces that I contributed are basically just the animations and the promotion materials for the moment. The animations in particular were actually quite frustrating to get right. We had to do a lot of trial and error with what very particular GIF encoding had to happen in order for Fine to be able to leverage them in a clear and reproducible way. So kind of funny to think about, like, for example, the registration GIF animation. I literally spent probably 100 hours trying to come up with an idea that would be soothing for a person that's sitting and waiting for 2 hours. And so yeah, basically what you see in the world is the result of me trying to soothe people, funny enough. But yeah, the base design of Engram is all done in Fine, and Dank did pretty much all.
So obviously it looks good. I've been using it on mobile, and I've been using it on a Mac, and I've used it on Linux. It looks great on everything. So the Asset Explorer is really cool. That actually makes it, in my opinion, it makes it more possible, and it makes it easier for the normal person to just log into their wallet and actually see their assets, and it's not all command line. I mean, I'm a fan of command line wallets, but you need that graphical representation for most people to be able to use things, right? So super kudos on that. But I do have to say my favorite feature that is the identity feature. I finally got my nephew to set up a wallet because of Engram, and I didn't give him any instructions. I just said go to identities, and I sent him a little bit of DERO, and I was like, you can register a human readable address now. And he made himself a nickname, and I didn't even have to explain it. It was just super easy to use. So I thought that was really cool. Do you guys have any of your own favorite features?
My favorite feature is the login feature when it works.
I definitely
ask you with the login feature.
Job well done.
Yep. Sorry, it's more of an inside joke between us because earlier in development we were troubleshooting some things. Sorry to cut you off, Six.
Gotcha. I'm guessing Six was kind of instrumental in fixing that.
Not that one. No worries though. I was saying I really enjoy the Asset Explorer as well. I think my favorite feature specifically about the Asset Explorer is the smart contract function calls. So in Engram, in the Asset Explorer, you can either search for smart contracts, or let's say you have an asset already, you can click on your asset, and at the bottom of the page, there's a select or a drop-down menu that lets you execute any of the smart contract functions on that contract, which is just fantastic as far as I'm concerned. It basically puts the whole world of DERO at everybody's fingertips.
There was some anon token going around on Twitter the day after that Engram beta launched, and everybody was spamming the contract functions to mint tokens from this anon contract. It was pretty funny. It was like a thing that happened to coincide with Engram's release and had its moment to shine on Twitter with a couple of dozen people spamming this single contract, and Engram. Kind of fun.
Well, at least it shows it's easy to use, right?
Maybe too easy.
I think the best part is too that like a lot of people would overlook is the fact that everything is client side, and you don't actually have like a website or something in between you and the blockchain. That's not something I've really seen anywhere else that does as much. Is actually really impressive. I just want to say kudos to you guys for that, because it really is awesome. I did hear that maybe there might be some new features being worked on, or is there anything else that's planned that you guys are planning to add before the beta's over, or what's kind of like your timeline here on what's going on with maybe new features and getting it ready for production, so to speak?
Yeah. So right now we are working towards our next release. It is codenamed Enigma, and we're pretty much going to, and this is really just to give people a way to visualize the road to 1.0, is we're going to have a series of micro releases, pretty much following like an agile style of development. And so we're going to continue to add in new features and, new things that we're researching and testing. So we actually have a lot coming. And one thing to note is that, while Engram right now is a smart wallet on DERO, we do have the far-reaching long-term goals where Engram, might evolve as well. So things to look out for in the long-term future on that front as well. I hope everyone can see that with our current trajectory and the development that's been released thus far in the beta, a lot of the design and the features that we have in there right now are pretty basic, and we do plan to flesh those out even more and further focus on the user experience there. But we also have to think about the future and what features we'll be adding in. So just to kind of drop here first, Engram is going to evolve in the short term toward a focus on communication. So right now we have, completely private and encrypted messages that can be sent between accounts. And, we're going to expand upon that as well. But we also are expanding towards, communication between, different platforms like decentralized applications and websites. So there's a lot coming, but I'll let the other members here kind of go into a few of the things that we have coming in the next release. And you'll just have to wait and see what we come up with next after that. I know after this next release, we have to pivot a little bit because we have other projects in the pipeline. So other things to look forward to there as well. But I think I'll hand it over to Six so he can kind of talk about what he's been working on.
Sure. Communication is a focus for Engram, and DApps are definitely of interest to me. So connect Engram in different ways to DApps. Thing to experiment with is the XSWD protocol that Six has been working on. It's a WebSocket protocol that's permissioned. So it allows for really easy communication between the wallet and, say, a website. And it allows the user full control as to what they accept or deny in terms of requests that come into their wallet.
It's like DApps go and what can be done with them.
In terms of security, when you start to have permissions and allow different tiers of permissions upon requests, with it is just the ease of use WebSockets bring in general, like the ability that DApp devs will have to more easily create DApps that can be utilized in web servers or other places that maybe the RPC server isn't as easily accessible.
I mean, they can even run DApps locally, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think the big selling point is that we can really remove the need for a browser extension to act as a bridge between, websites and the wallet. So there's really just direct communication between the app, whether it's on the web or like a standalone application, but it just communicates directly with your wallet, and you can really drill down and set all the particular permissions that you want that application to have access to. So think of, currently the RPC, just if you input the username and password. That's really the only thing securing the access to the wallet. If you give those credentials to an application, it really has full reign over your wallet at that point. It could send transactions, view all of your history, things like that. And so with the introduction of Slick's system and just WebSocket communication in general, with the added permissions that come with it, you can really tailor what DApps can do within your wallet. And you essentially authorize each action that it wants to take. So, for example, if an application wanted access to your balance, it's got to ask for permission first, which will prompt the user in Engram in the wallet, and you choose whether to allow or deny that access.
That's perfect. That's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
No, feel free to expand on that. I was actually getting close to wrapping, so if you want to add something, go for it.
I just wanted to give thanks to Slicks for creating XSWD. Our implementation of it has some changes that you'll see, and hopefully the community will enjoy them. I also wanted to thank Six on his work on that, because he's been heading up that feature, which is kind of a project in itself. So thank you both for that.
Yeah, Slicks has done some really cool stuff with that. I'd like to see his work. It's pretty cool to see some of the things he comes up with and his approach. Definitely appreciate that. So these are just kind of some basic questions. Maybe we should have covered them earlier, but I think it's good to for anybody who's listening and interested but might not know where to find Engram. What's the easiest way to download Engram or get to it?
It'll be on our GitHub repository, github.com/DERO for foundation /Engram. And I'm sure someone can edit that in or add it to this broadcast, but or in the details.
Yeah. We'll definitely include the link.
We're currently working on getting those download links updated on the website as well. So that would be another avenue on DERO.io.
Are you planning on doing that after you're satisfied that the beta is running well?
It's already queued, waiting to be pushed.
Yeah, we've got it ready, like Azlem said. Yeah, I think we've had a pretty good turnout with respect to the community testing and using Engram. I also wanted to really thank our community for being hands-on with the beta release and testing. And as everyone could see, we've really taken all of their input and their bug reports and addressed them. So keep them coming. We do appreciate the extra eyes on Engram, and keep it up, because that's really the only way that it'll continue to improve.
All right, perfect. Other than the GitHub, is there any Twitter accounts or anything like that people should be following for updates?
Yeah, it's technically a DERO Foundation project, so I would say on Twitter, follow the DERO Foundation, DERO_Foundation. And, just, I know most of our community is here in Discord and Matrix, but, we'll continue to release updates, on both of those platforms. But everyone's got busy lives, so if you just follow the Twitter, that's probably going to be the easiest route to stay up to date.
Anybody else have anything to add, or that's all I really got for you guys? Unless you guys want to go on any rants or anything like that, feel free. All right, I think that's it for this ZeroPoint module. I think we'll just wrap it up here. Thanks everybody for joining and listening to this ZeroPoint Module 9. We'll be coming out with more soon. Stay tuned. You can follow the Nonsenses account on Twitter for updates on ZeroPoint modules. And you can always find everybody in the Discord as well. All right, remember, not your keys, not your coins, not your coins, not your business. Have a good day, guys.
See ya.
Yep, thanks everyone.